In other news this morning, it is harder than ever to get into college. More schools are now giving students the yellow light. They're not exactly accepting them or denying them. Instead, they're putting them on the wait list. Okay, so what happens if your child ends up on a wait list? What do you do? Ron Carruthers from Ducerus College Solutions is here with some advice for us this morning. Ron, thanks so much for coming in. We
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Okay, what is a wait list?
It's purgatory. It's
yeah.
College purgatory.
It's mean.
Yeah, it's where you basically, you're good enough to get in, but you're not officially in yet. And it's a weird phenomenon that's really burgeoned the last few years because 5 years ago, children would apply to 5 to 6 schools. Now, the average is 10 to 12, so colleges aren't really sure how to manage what they call their yield ratio, which is how many students they accept that'll actually come there. So more and more students are getting pushed on this wait list, which is, well, let us know if you're still interested. And the other problem is recently we've had major budget cuts, particularly if the tax increase doesn't go through, that's going to cut classes at SDSU, USD, Cal State San Marcos. So it's a real problem now.
So more and more students will end up on this wait list, and basically schools need to get some no's before they start accepting these students that are on the wait list, right? Okay, so you end up on the wait list, or your child ends up on the wait list. How do you make sure that you kind of have a little edge and maybe be one of the first people they accept?
Well, here's the first thing you do. Make your second choice and figure out where you're going to go if it doesn't work out.
Okay, so
that's
plan
the
B.
very first thing you do is plan B. Here's 4 things you can do. Number 1 is immediately write a letter to the director of admissions explaining exactly why you would be a good fit for their school.
And have a name, right? You want to make sure you know the director of admissions.
You need to have a name, and it needs to be specific. In other words, you want to read this letter and be, this is specific of why I want to go to USD or USC or wherever, not something that you could send to every school. And explain, this is why I would be a really good fit. Any awards they've won since applying, any designations, anything that can help bolster their case.
You think like a one-page letter is enough?
1 page would be great.
Okay.
And here's another key that we found really works good. FedExing it to the director of admissions, make sure that that person actually sees it as opposed to it getting routed to a post office box and they may never see it.
They never even open it.
So
FedEx it
sending
to
it
the director of admissions.
to the director of admissions.
Okay, so what should be in that letter besides here's why I want to come to your specific school?
Why they should pick you.
Okay.
So in other words, it's why I want to go to your school versus the others and why I would be a really good match. And again, short and sweet, it just does it and it shows, look, I really am interested.
Now, should you beg?
No.
No,
I wouldn't beg and I wouldn't do a gimmick. Like sending a shoe with it and I'm going to get my foot in the door. We see that one and they've seen it a million times. So like, don't even bother. Just a straightforward letter that explains these are 5 reasons why I would be a really good fit for you and why you would be a really good fit for me. And I hope to get off that wait list. Please let me know.
Okay, now one of the things you said, you should maybe include a picture of yourself?
You know, we've tested this. And we found a picture just seems to help, and nothing weird or goofy or provocative. Not
in a bikini.
Right.
Not playing beer pong.
No.
No.
Just like a family photo or a headshot or something. It just helps put a face with it, and it's just something that humanizes it. And again, because they're dealing with so many applications, it's just one way to go, look, I'm a real person. I really want to come here. Here's why.
Okay, what else should you do?
Well, here's something else to keep in mind. That may not work.
Okay.
And so here's a couple other options that people aren't aware of. One other option is that a lot of schools are doing 1-year transfer programs now. Stanford's doing it, USC is doing it, where they'll let you take 1 year's worth of credits on their approved program because a lot of kids drop out in the freshman year.
You mean at a community college?
At a community college.
Okay, so you don't have to go to a community college for 2 years, maybe just 1 full year.
Sure, and again, it's powerful schools, you know, prestigious schools like Stanford and USC that are doing these programs. You can actually meet with their admissions counselor. They'll design the program for you, and you can transfer over after 1 year.
And that, I think, is the key, is to meet with those folks at the school you want to go to make sure that you are on track to qualify to transfer in a year.
Absolutely.
Because you don't want to be taking the wrong courses and figure that out later.
Totally. By the way, one other thing to help you get off the wait list, sorry, I just thought of this, is going and visiting the school and making sure they mark that you're there because, again, it shows them, hey, I'm really interested in this school. Sometimes we've had admissions officers tell us that's the difference. Hey, this kid visited, this kid didn't, so we knew their level of commitment was a little higher.
Okay.
And then there's one other last minute thing that they can do.
And we just have a few more seconds here.
There's a secret list that comes out every year. Right after May 1st, when everybody has to make their decision, it lists all the schools that still have space available. They can call our office to get that list right after May 1st.
Right after May 1st, there's a secret list that shows schools that still have openings. That's huge. So keep that in mind. Call
Don't forget that.
Ducerus College
Hopefully you don't
Solutions.
need it, but you can call us if you do.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's a great tip. All right, Ron, you always have great advice. Thanks.
Thank you.